Welcome back to the Windy City Wire podcast. My name is Sam Tenaglia, and I'm glad to be back for another week and another absolutely devastating Bears loss that sadly we will have to relive again tonight. And you'll get to also by listening to this episode. We'll just get right into it. I'm here with Owen Zimmerman, as always, and Kevin O'Malley, as always. Guys, glad to have you here.
Good to be on.
Good to be back.
Definitely. Glad to have you guys here, and let's dive in. Bears, Packers in Chicago. Weird schedule this year. We have all our divisional opponents at the end of the year, all bunched together. 3 straight home games for the Bears. This is their second in a row to divisional opponents. As we said, they lost to what was it? They lost to the Packers this weekend, and I don't even want to remember who we lost to the week before. But the past weekend was awful. The Bears looked a lot better with a lot of the news coming out with Eberflus getting fired last week, or not Eberflus. That's what we all hoped. It was Shane Waldron getting fired last week. New offensive coordinator Thomas Brown came into the offense to call the plays, and the Bears ended up losing 20-19 on a blocked field goal, 47-yarder, as time expired. And in devastating fashion, Bears lose again. That's multiple times this season, and it seems to be a recurring theme with the Bears and their history in the NFL. So, Kyle, I'll start off with you, Kyle. I was in the stands, but what did you see when you were watching on TV? What did you think?
Oh, yeah, it's just another heartbreaker. We're numb to it at this point. I told him, after I saw the block kick, I was like, what was I expecting that he'd make it? It's like, come on, he's so used to just being let down time and time after again, and yeah, but it's encouraging to see Caleb look good again. Finally, the 3 week stretch before that was tough, but now that's 2 game-winning drives that Caleb has led, and just falls short from some bullshit again. But yeah, Thomas Brown looked good as an OC. But first weekend, there's not much film going for, like the Packers didn't really have much to go off of there. So hopefully that can continue. But seeing DJ get involved more, Komet getting involved more. Didn't see any Gerald Everett, which I'm glad. Roshan got more carries, he got more work. Yeah, O-line looked better. Because we're getting the ball quicker. And only thing that still is a little bit concerned. It seemed like DJ was really only involved at when the plays were schemed to him, screen passes or swing passes. There was no. I don't know if he completed a pass to DJ down the field, but Caleb and Rome still look great together. Caleb and Komet look great together. Defense. Red zone defense is just incredible this year. Bend don't break Bears. They have just one turnover in the red zone, or they get 2 turnovers in the red zone, or they just held them to 3 field goals or something.
I think they had a fourth down that they missed, and they had a turnover. Or
yeah, okay.
You correct me.
They had the interception, I know that, but
yeah,
yeah, really couldn't get much pressure on Caleb. Josh Jacobs kind of ran all over us too. But pass defense looked great. Other than Jalen Johnson slipped in the secondary on that Christian Watson long play at the end. But other than that, just a lot of stuff to be optimistic about and encouraging stuff that we see. But just still a terrible loss. To the fucking Packers. Now Fuller goes to 11-0. If we would have won that game on a game winner like that to beat the Packers, that would have meant so much to the Bears fans. But just yet again.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and before in here, I'll run it through a few stats from the game. Obviously, we went right to the bad news on saying it was a heartbreaking loss, but the Bears did look good. Kevin said there's optimism with Bears fans, with Thomas Brown. I was favoring him last week. I gave you opinion. Kevin did not agree with me, but hopefully you were proven wrong. But looking at some stats, Jordan Love, 13 of 17, one touchdown through the air, one touchdown on the ground, which turned out to be the game-winning touchdown. Um, Receiving, Christian Watson had best day he's had all year, 4 for 150, one really long catch, but the ball did hit the ground, but they ruled it a catch. We won't go into it unless Owen wants to. Caleb Williams went 23 of 31, 231 yards. He got sacked 3 times to Jordan Love's 1 time. Rushing, it was Swift on the ground, 14 for 71, and also Caleb Williams running the ball
Yeah.
just in great situations during this game when he was getting pressured. 9 for 70, and then receiving, it was Rome 6 for 65, DJ 7 for 62. And just a few more stats that I want to read here for you guys. So Caleb Williams had a season low 2.62 seconds or what was it? Seconds per average time to throw in this past game. So he had the lowest time to throw, but he only got sacked 3 times. That means we're getting the plays off quicker. They're developing quicker, I would say.
Are you sure? Is it not from snap to throw? Time from snap to throw?
Caleb Williams had an average time to throw of 2.62 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah. And
sometimes that's kind of flawed though. Just will say. I mean, because he's scrambling a lot, but
yeah, it's true. But he had his 101.3 passer rating on third down was a season high. That's great. Some another facts. Jordan Love has only gotten sacked 3 times, and he's gotten 6 QB hits in 3 total games versus the Bears. That's not great. And Chicago is 101, 24, and 2 when they have 0 turnovers and created takeaway on defense. And 3 of those losses have come in the last 3 weeks. That's surprising. And the
well, we
Bears,
had a turnover though.
go ahead.
We had a turnover though. Is that where, or did you say that?
Um,
We had a pick.
oh, I'm saying when we as an offense don't turn the ball over.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
My bad.
And yeah, so that was a good one. And then we've once again fail after attempting a field goal on second down. We'll get into some bad losses later in the show. And it's been 2,165 days plus since the Bears have last beaten the Packers. So those are the facts of the game. Owen, going to you. What did you think? Were you worried at all during this game?
Yeah, I thought it was maybe at best a C minus or a D plus performance from the Packers. It was frustrating. It was kind of a boiling rage. I was sitting at about an 8 for most of the game, certainly most of the second half, just because there are a lot of issues that have been kind of recurring all year that do not seem to have been fixed over the bye week. The big ones, obviously, red zone offense. It was abysmal. It's okay not scoring touchdowns and settling for field goals, but you can't have 2 possessions in a game coming up with nothing after getting to the deep red zone. And then the worst part of it is they're certainly the most frustrating from a viewing standpoint was the complete lack of a pass rush against what has been a horrific offensive line, or at least an offensive line that's allowed quite a few sacks. Now, obviously, they were getting the ball out quicker, but even when Caleb was holding it for deeper drops and longer pass plays, it didn't seem like they were even getting close. Until that last possession, for whatever reason, so that was leading to a lot of third and manageable, not a lot of negative plays for the Bears, so a lot of third and short, third and manageable. Defense ended up not being able to get off the field. I mean, Bears were outstanding on third down after I believe they were combined 6 for 40 in the previous 2 games, and they were, I think, well over 50%. And I know they were at least 2 for 2, if not 3 for 3 on fourth down. So that's just not going to work when you're playing a good team or a better team or a playoff team down the line. So, I mean, that obviously led to this is an offensive team, Green Bay. You only get 6 possessions because you can't get off the field. So it was very frustrating to watch. but can't complain too much because the Packers did win the game. But yeah, not a pleasant viewing experience for me either. But I mean, all things are kind of in context here. But yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah, hey, you still came out with the win, and I think going back to what Kevin said earlier, a win even versus the Packers and lose to everyone else the rest of the year, that would have just been good enough for the Bears fans, I say.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind the rest of the season. But I mean, I'm glad you pointed that out actually, Owen. The third downs, I was shocked. I mean, as the game was going on, I kept like texting my buddies. I'm like, wow, when was the last time we converted like 2 third downs in game? I mean, it's incredible. And then you got the fourth downs. Yeah, where you said 3 for 3 on fourth downs. Uh, yeah, I wonder if like a lot of that had to do with Jair getting hurt. Maybe I don't know.
Could be, yeah. I think a lot of it was honestly just the play calling. It seemed to me like I haven't watched a lot of the Bears, but they were really adamant about getting the ball out quickly, almost spamming the quick screens and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, they were doing a great job, and I don't think I know some Packers players say this in the media this past week, but the whole design quarterback runs were not really something they expected either, and those worked out very well. And Caleb used his legs, I'm sure, to a career high rushing day. So. It was certainly from a Bears fan perspective, you have to be at least a little optimistic that, there is all this talk about changing the offensive coordinator. How much could this offense really change? I mean, it did seem like there were some tangible changes and tangible differences to the offense after just 1 week under Thomas Brown. So hopefully that's something from if you're a Bears fan that they can continue to build upon. But yeah, I thought offensively they looked a lot different last week than they had the previous two.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even with the loss and just said it's bad loss after bad loss over the last few years. Um, but yeah, if we're a way different team than we look versus the Patriots. Like our offense is actually capable of moving the ball. The
Oh,
run by Caleb, that was just like that was making my day sitting in the stands, just be like, he can move. It's shutting the people saying, "Oh, he's a bust. So why'd you didn't you take Jaden Daniels?" Like Caleb had a good game, and I'm happy about that. Like it just,
oh, Caleb was awesome. Caleb was awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, not even just the design runs, but yeah, just escaping the pocket. Like before the previous, what was it, 7 weeks, whatever. I don't know how many fucking games there's been, but it seemed like he just like it seemed like Eberflus and Waldron like coached him like, do not leave the pocket. Like you're sinking with the ship. If it collapses, you're getting killed. I mean, it's like he would just refuse to leave the pocket. Then Thomas Brown comes in for 1 week for 5 days, and Caleb's run all over the place. I mean, there's so many open lanes, and he's taking advantage of it. And then that, I mean, that last drive, that 3rd and 19 throw, that was awesome. Love seeing that. Uh, yeah, I mean, very encouraging stuff, but another letdown. Yeah, another letdown.
I mean, yeah, I
Really
don't know
wish
if that's a
I
good
won that game.
segue into the Eberflus piece of this
Yeah.
because I mean, I was have a stat here. I don't know if you have it too, Sam, but it was on Twitter yesterday, the day before, was kind of getting a good run that Eberflus is 5-17 in one score games since 2022, which is by far the worst in the NFL. And you can kind of see why. I mean, two of the last three losses have been you can point to specific decisions that he's made that has made it more difficult for his team to win the game. And I don't know if that's something you ever see in the NFL, being able to clearly identify a dumb decision directly costing a team a football game and happening
Oh,
I'd like
twice
it's
to
in three
debate
weeks
this
is
with
it's
you.
incredible.
Yeah, I'd like to debate this actually really quick. So I guess I'll start, but if you think about just this year, like if I'm thinking bad losses, it was the Commanders game. That play before the Hail Mary, that is Eberflus's fault. To me, those yards and Jaden Daniels throwing whatever, a 70 versus or like a 60 versus a 70 yard or something, that's more on Eberflus.
yeah.
This past week, if you're an NFL kicker, no matter where you are, whatever hash you're on, you should be able to make a 47-yard field goal. I'm sorry,
Well,
like you
he
should
could
be
make
able.
it. He could make it, but yeah, he has the weak leg, but he could make that kick. It's not like he's coming up short on that kick, but he's not clearing it with ease. Cairo's not clearing it with ease to where you're like, oh, that's a guaranteed. Like he has to adjust to like kick it lower. Like he has to kick it lower to adjust with his leg.
Well, I
So
think
that's why
my problem with it is though is like with the time you had 30 seconds and a timeout. Why
exactly
would you
that's what I was
not
thinking.
get yards? I mean, you're actively making a decision to not get any more yards,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which to me is wild.
And then you go I saw a clip. They just they put all three of the head coaches for the Bears. They put Nagy, Trestman, and Eberflus all in the same picture, and then they just played each clip one by one. And they all the same shit because they did the same fucking thing in losses that we did, where they just settled for a field goal from like 50 yards out on second or third down when you have time to get closer, and it cost us the game. Like, what are we doing?
To me,
It
though,
makes
it
no.
doesn't matter what you need to make that kick. It's like if I'm trying to think of an
It got
analogy.
blocked, Sam. It got blocked.
Well, Sam, if you're 5, 10 yards further, you can kick it higher too. I mean, you
Exactly.
have.
That's what I'm trying to get through to you. I'm telling them
But
in
yeah,
that week.
You
Like
should make
if
it.
we're at the 35, if we're at the 35 or like the 30-yard line and it just becomes a 35-yard kick or a 38-yard kick, he could kick it higher then and he could get it over the line with ease.
Think it like if you're an NBA player and you can't make a three, but if you step like 3 feet ahead of you and it's a long two and you make like I'd rather have you learn how to shoot threes. Because if you can't make a three, I don't want you on my team. In my opinion.
well, I mean, there's certainly an
Obviously,
argument that he does have the weakest leg in the NFL, and I
yeah,
think like if Brandon Aubrey goes up, it's a chip shot. He can kick it as high as he wants.
exactly.
But I
I
mean,
mean, you
it's
got
they have to. But Eberflus has to know that.
yeah,
Like he's
that's
the
what I'm
head
saying.
coach. He has to have
Unbelievable.
like
Sorry.
it all. I mean, to me, it ends with him. He knows that he's going to have to kick it on a lower trajectory if he's that far back. He knows he's got a weak leg. So you got 30 seconds of timeout. Why not get 5 or 6 yards?
It's like, do you not know the personnel? Like, does every single player and first fan watching know their personnel, but you don't? Like, you know, he has the weakest leg. He's even in domes when he's kicking like the same distance. He's barely clearing the crossbar. Like, get closer. You have a timeout. You have 40 seconds, and it's second down, and you ran. You just got all the way downfield. You started off 3rd and 19 at your own 10-yard line, and you drove down there in a minute 20 seconds. Like,
Yeah, I agree. Like,
just
okay.
get in the power eye, get in the power ride. If it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't go anywhere. But you're not gonna. You might lose a yard. All right, you might lose a yard, but you're not gonna fumble the game away. Like that, and that's like what his excuse was. Is that like, oh well, you know, a lot could happen. You know, a fumble could happen. A fumble could happen on any fucking play. You don't trust you or your own running back to get you to hold on to the ball for one play. That's the problem.
Yeah. So I guess he needs to go for it, but again, he's got to make it. It's yeah. So it's just continuing. It's just more mounting evidence that Eberflus is not head coach worthy, and he needs to be gone.
Yeah, and then I mean earlier in the game too, I forgot to say this when I was highlighting Caleb's performance, but that when we converted that fourth down and it was like third quarter, and we were about to go bring the special teams unit on the field to kick a field goal, and Caleb was screaming at Eberflus, "No, we're going for it!"
Yeah.
And he was one, and they got it. Like I love that.
Yeah.
Make this kid our head coach. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I think Thomas Brown should be our coach next year, maybe. Or like
Okay,
somebody
let's not
capable.
get ahead of ourselves. I mean, it's 1 week.
Okay,
One
okay.
we
All I'm saying is Eberflus needs to be gone, and we better make a decision that we're going to keep our quarterback. We're going to keep riding with the guy we have. We also need to think about polls because did polls speak to the media again this week?
I don't know.
Hearing
I didn't pay
anything?
attention to any of it.
Yeah,
I kind of just like shut everything off after that block kick. I didn't want to look at anything with the Bears.
yeah. I drove my family or my mom's friend from high school and her nephew to the game, and they were Packers fans, so it was tough ride home for me. I did not want to talk much, but still.
Yeah, that's a rough game.
But think about all the bad games we've lost over the past few years.
Oh, I mean, it's incredible.
Even just going back, I mean, the double doink,
I mean, and
awful.
then the double dunk, and then the ones I just mentioned. I mean, like the one that like I literally just met the Nagy one where he didn't call a timeout, and then he was Pinero missed the field goal because hits off the post or some shit, and that's just like a lot to forget about because there's been so many. I totally forgot about that loss until this happened.
Yeah.
It's like wow, yeah, we have at least like 4 or 5 just devastating losses each year.
Yep. Last year we had 99% chance to win in multiple games and blew it.
No,
Specifically versus the Broncos, we were up huge and they came back and beat us. And here's a stat from earlier this week. The Bears had a 71% chance to win during the Packers loss or this past week versus the Packers. And over the last 3 seasons, they've blown 5 leads with a 90% or higher chance of winning. And the odds are 1 in 68 million of that happening.
yeah,
Yeah. And it just goes back to all our bad coaching mistakes with and all our heartbreaking losses, as mentioned, the double doink, the Conti or he just like forgot to play safety. The Rogers like fumble Rooski where he threw it at the ground, it turned into a fumble and he runs it in.
BJ
That's just
Raji.
like heartbreaking. I've been all these games. I gotta stop going. I'm the bad luck.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I would forgot to mention. I think yeah, you brought me to 2 Bears games this year. I didn't even get to see an offensive touchdown in either of them. How crazy is that?
That's true. Jesus.
Didn't see an offensive touchdown this year in 2 games.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Oh my
But
God.
hey, whatever. I mean, now we got the Vikings next week. We're gonna get killed. I think we're gonna get killed. I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, oh, that's another thing too. Don't think we got like really much pressure on Jordan Love at all. Which was feel like when we talked on these podcasts too, Owens always said that like Jordan Love kind of struggles under pressure, and we didn't even bring any pressure towards him. And then yeah, Jacobs just killed us on the ground. Run defense kind of becoming an issue.
Yeah, it's been an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do want to say that I don't know if you saw the Braxton Jones pull around block. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, that was great. I mean, he
Yeah.
fucking floored the guy.
Yep. So he came around the left side of the line, crushed somebody, led to the huge long Swift touchdown. That was beautiful.
No.
The place was ecstatic for most of the game. We thought we were in this thing.
I can't imagine the walk out of the stadium, how silent it was.
Everyone was just heads down, pissed off. Yeah. Let's just hope it
Oh,
doesn't get worse from here. Like I think
yeah.
I'm just loss of words. Like it's just like just keeps happening. What do we
Oh, it
expect?
will be. It will be. I mean, when you lose, what? How many losses does Eberflus have now? As long as he's a head coach, I mean, there's got to be some. You got to at least, pick out like 4 or 5 a year that are just going to be devastating. I mean, so yeah,
Well,
Vikings next week. Who do the Packers got next week on?
They have
Oh,
San
the
Francisco at
Niners.
home. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that'll be an interesting one.
Niners
yeah,
are just such a weird team right now, man. Like you think that they'd be so much better. One's even
In theory, they should be. Right? Yeah, it's been a kind of a weird year for them, an unlucky year, certainly injury-wise. But yeah, I mean, they're still dangerous. I still think it's possible they just win like 6 or 7 in a row at some
yeah.
point. But yeah, as of right now, I know the Packers are favored by 2, or they were favored by 2, 2.5, which I thought was kind of odd. But I mean,
Is
we'll
it in
see.
Green Bay?
It is in Green Bay, and then they play in Green Bay on Thanksgiving as well. So,
Okay,
and then the Bears play. I think. Do the Bears play the Lions on Thanksgiving this year? Is that
yeah.
I
correct?
believe so.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
maybe.
So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have much on the Bears. I think like the closing thing we were gonna say is we're gonna lose to the Vikings probably.
Yeah, I mean the season's over, so like
Yeah,
not
just
much
keep
to really.
losing at this point.
Yeah. I mean, just hopefully the offense could keep looking like this. I mean, just make it easy for Caleb. Let's not, run these super long processing routes and shit that where the O line cannot hold up. Let's keep getting DJ involved. Just build up the chemistry. I mean, next year's the year. We gotta look at it like that.
build the chemistry now, keep working on the fundamentals, get people healthy. We signed Adrian Colbert to take Brisker's spot. Colbert was a big fan favorite on the Hard Knocks this summer. That's news.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
still no word on Brisker at all. That's pretty scary.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, Bears are bad. It's tough. I hate getting my confidence up every year.
Yeah, that's what's so annoying is like, especially as that game was going on, like when we were winning in the third quarter, I'm like, wow, if we beat the Packers, I mean, are we back? Like, we play the Vikings next week. We could beat the Vikings. I mean, boom, we're right back in it. And like, sure enough, we lose. So,
Mm,
instant switch flip right there.
yeah, that's being a Bears fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, even I was talking to a Lions fan yesterday. He's like, I never realized like how emotional the city gets about this team. I'm like, yeah, we live. This city is hyped and happy if
Especially
we
when,
win, and if we're done, they can't.
especially when every other team in Chicago sucks ass.
Yeah,
So it's like this is the only team we got right now.
yeah. Cubs are trading top 25 prospects for middle relievers.
Top 25, really? That's what it
We
was?
traded our
Saw that
21st
trade.
ranked prospect for some guy on the Guardians this afternoon.
Oh. Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, he was an outfielder, right? The Cubs they have so many outfielders
That's
in their farm.
Yeah.
So like better just not hoard these prospects.
Yeah, but that's all I have for Bears.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got too. With so Packers 7-3 in third place in the division.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I'm kind of waiting, and that's. Uh, I mean, obviously, I can tell the confidence is not high right now for the Bears against the Vikings this week. But I was hoping that maybe, yeah, the Bears would maybe use this as a jumping off point and at least beat the Vikings. That would be helpful. I'm expecting them. At least I'm hoping they're going to fall off at some point. But yeah, it's.
Well, if Darnold keeps playing like shit, I mean, we definitely could beat the Vikings. Wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, but I mean, I know the NFC is going to be. I mean, still the NFC North is tracking to have three playoff teams now. The NFC West is kind of the interesting one to follow because I think everybody there is at 500 or like within a game of 5-0.
Yep.
NFC playoff picture is still kind of very much in flux, and you just got to the Packers have got to continue to win. Luckily, they've got some winnable games down the stretch. They play Miami, they play New Orleans, and then obviously a bunch of divisional games. So.
What's crazy is that Miami's like only a game and a half back out of the playoffs, I think. That's
No way.
They
insane.
were what 2-6, and I think they won 2 games in 5 days, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden are right back in
It's
this.
just
So
shit. That AFC, is that the AFC East, right?
I'm curious if you can look this up because I know it was brought up on Red Zone a couple weeks ago, but I think the Bills can clinch that division within like the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow.
I mean, they're
Just-
9-2 and the Dolphins are 4-6.
Well, yeah, and the Ravens keep losing. How the fuck do they keep losing?
Yeah, what's going? They're 7-4 still, but they lost last week. Yeah.
I wonder
Bengals
where do you
being
guys think? Yeah,
bad.
like the Bengals as being in terms of one of the best teams to miss the playoffs because it certainly
Yeah.
seems like we're
Oh, it's
trending
incredible.
that way too.
I mean, Joe Burrow he'd be an easy MVP if they were just winning games. Then Jamar Chase is about to win a triple crown in wide receiver.
Amazing.
He's incredible, and like they have 4 wins, right? 3 wins or 4 wins.
The Colts are a game under 500.
That's ridiculous.
I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of Bo Nix.
Yeah, Bo Nix did look good.
Yeah.
So,
That and at the AFC West too, they got 3 teams over 500.
Yeah, Chargers are
And-
good.
well, and how about this? The Giants just blatantly tanking.
Yeah, they're
She's
not
just-
even going with Lock.
Yeah, that's. I mean, what a fuck you to Lock, huh? Just
Well, I
flat
mean,
face.
he is bad. I mean, that's
Better than Tommy.
He was
Yeah.
he was gunning for the job in the offseason. Wasn't it like a QB battle almost?
Oh, I know they were like they signed him. They're like he was a big free agent signing. Like, oh, we got our backup now. But no, actually, no, we don't.
Absolute clown show.
But I mean, again, as this seems to be usually the case, getting dwarfed by the clown show that is the Jets. I'm kind of curious on what you guys
Oh,
think of
yeah.
that because the news has been very amusing to me.
Yeah,
Just
Jets are probably like the only team that's like right in the same boat as us right now. Like where it's just the Jets fans are probably like numb to it at this point too.
They don't have the devastating losses we have. They just have sheer disappointment.
I mean, they were like minus 250 favorites to make the playoffs, and like they were like they were had the fourth best odds to win the Super Bowl this year. Like they're 3 wins.
Weapons, it's just Rodgers at 40 is garbage.
It's terrible, and then they trade away their whole future to just bloat up this team even more. And no, it's fucked.
I don't know. Yeah, I think news came out today that the owner said that they should bench Rodgers back on September 30th. So that
Has he
was
been bad? Like, has he been? I haven't watched any of the games. Has he been like that bad?
he's been pretty bad for
I
40
mean, he's a statue. I mean, he can't
Yeah.
move. And he's very risk averse still, so he doesn't he doesn't throw it down the field.
Ugh.
I think
I love
I mean,
it.
you think
I
he's-
love it. As a Bears fan, I love it.
I think I saw a stat today. I can't remember, but it was like Aaron Rodgers playing at 40 can't do anything, can't move. And like Tom Brady at like 43 is winning Super Bowls and throwing 35 touchdowns. It's like the Rodgers and the GOAT conversation is over, but
Oh yeah, and I saw this somebody say on Twitter. It was actually so true.
Yeah.
And Rodgers is like looking at a situation like Joe Burrow, like he's Joe Burrow on the Bengals. Like Burrow's playing his ass off, like doing insane shit, and they still lose. But in Rodgers, I feel like he just looks at it like he's doing that same thing. It's the team letting him down.
no, they have weapons. They have all the weapons they need. They just can't perform. I think it has to come down to the quarterback in that situation. They've tried to fire the coach. They fired the GM now. So, oh, and what are your thoughts? I mean, are you surprised to see this out of Aaron Rodgers?
No, I'm not surprised that it's been a complete disaster, just because that's what it was the last couple of years in Green Bay, and when people were talking about how much leverage the Jets had in the situation before the trade, and how well the Jets did to get their guy, and all the big meetings they had flying out to him. When all along, I mean, from my standpoint, I'm like, this is a great deal for Green Bay just to get rid of this guy, because from a locker room standpoint and how it was difficult to root for him the past couple of years, just with all the off-field nonsense and whatnot. And you could tell like his ego continues to grow. And now that he's in a situation where he has an owner who he has to answer to, or he's supposed to answer to, he feels like he can intimidate, I suppose, and take over. I mean, at this point, he's basically the coach, GM, and quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. He's like
Like,
LeBron.
like there's no power dynamics to keep it in check, and like it doesn't surprise me at all. It doesn't surprise me at all. I still he's still my favorite athlete of all time, going back to when I first started watching football, but not at all shocked. And I do find it amusing that now that the GM and the coach are both gone within a span of 2 years.
I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy. And poor Jets fans, man.
Yeah.
They get screwed all the time.
Yep. They're the Jets of the East.
They get a top
No, they're the
five
Bears of
quarterback
the
all
East.
time,
We're the
top
Jets of
three,
the
and they still
Central.
ruin them.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Star?
No, they're the Bears of the East, and we're the Jets of the Central.
Yeah,
North.
that's the way to put it.
Yeah. Bad. Yeah, okay. Well, any other thoughts on NFL? I want to dive into some fantasy really quick.
Okay.
So I just want to say this is a terrible week for buys. I'm getting
Oh
crushed.
yeah.
Gosh, I'm listen to this lineup I'm starting. I got Tua, Audric Estime, Zach Charbonnet, Calvin Ridley, Cedric Tillman, Cortland Sutton, Will Disley, and Noah Brown.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, Sammy, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what you were doing with those trades last week, or why would you do those trades?
I needed a second running back, and I have all these wide receivers, and I got Bijan. I'm
1
like,
week
Bijan's
for
gonna be
one-
great.
For 1 week, though. I mean, did you not look at the buys?
I did, yeah.
So, like, even if you won last week, you'd still be fucked this week. You realize that?
You're punting on, yeah.
I was thinking I was gonna win last week. So
Yeah, but your record, I mean, you're
failed. I
still on
failed
the
that
outside
test.
looking in. I don't know.
That I was gonna
Seems
win
like a
last
pretty
week.
crazy trade. It
Oh,
fucked me too, because Reese beat me because of that.
yeah,
Amon Ra dropping 40 points.
yeah, it sucks. He never hit that for me,
Yeah.
obviously. And then Bijan just actually shits the bed. So yeah.
My other league, I had to start Jameis. He clutched up for me.
Jameis, yeah, he clutched up for me too in my other league. Yep.
I love Jameis too. I mean, they throw it 60 times a game. It's hilarious.
I would watch out. The weather conditions in Cleveland tomorrow are not going to be good. It's going to be raining heavily.
I know,
Possibly.
Oh,
isn't
is
the
that
low
Thursday night
over-under is
game?
very low, isn't it? Isn't it like
Yeah.
in the 30s?
I haven't looked at who they play.
It's Steelers, Browns. It's going to be
It is,
Najee
oh
and
man, the live
Sean.
over-under it's down to 36.5.
It's the
Ugh,
spread.
Steelers are the 3.5 point favorites.
And the total, what'd you say the total was? Like,
36.
36.5.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
send that to bet someone.
it's hard to bet on a favorite spread when the total's that low, but I mean Steelers minus 3.5.
Yeah, the Steelers again, they're a team that it doesn't seem to me that they're very good, but they're 8-2. I think
I
it's
mean,
just
what Boswell hit 6 field goals last week or
I think
something?
it's just it's a Tomlin team. Like they're not very good. They're probably going to get smoked in the playoffs, but they're winning games.
Not on
Yeah, they
Chris
just most
Boswell's
consistent
shoulders.
10-win team, and then just lose first round every year.
Chris Boswell, 6 of 6. Guy.
Yeah, he put up like 25 in fantasy.
Yeah, he crushed it. Yeah, Steelers, I mean, Pickens has been really good, but he seems just like a terrible teammate, a terrible person.
Really? Is he been?
Yeah, he's just like not picking people up off the ground, just like getting in people's face, just bothering stuff. Oh, and you've seen that, right?
Yeah, he's just not a very good guy. I think that was something that was known prior to the draft, and part of the reason why he got picked where he did.
Yeah.
He's got some
Nice.
off the field issues, but he's a wide receiver, so you kind of expect that.
Yeah.
What's up with the Steelers wide receivers, man? I mean, going back like 6 years, you got AB, Martavis Bryant,
Even Juju ended up being a
Juju,
problem.
and then you got Claypool, Deontay
Hmm.
Johnson last year was a head case. I mean, it's up with the wide receiver room over there.
It's bad. Something's in the water.
Yeah, some's in the water. It's every year.
It's
Oh,
crazy.
that's what I also wanted to bring up. Oh, I forgot to bring it up last podcast. But talking about who's our O lineman coach? I don't even know. But looking back, I mean, Leno is great on the Commanders. You got what's his face?
James Daniels.
James Daniels he's like one of the highest graded PFF linemen this year. And it's like these guys were the worst linemen in football on our team, and we gave them up.
Whoever it is, yeah, it's not working out. I agree with you. Charles Leno
Doesn't make any
had a pretty
sense.
good career outside of the Bears.
It makes zero sense.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, boys. Under a minute. Any last thoughts?
Yeah, I have a quick one. I just want to say that it's a big week for the Indiana Hoosiers this week. They're playing at Ohio State. There's been some talk online about if they lose, if the committee is going to let the 2 or 3 loss SEC team in front of them. 1 loss Indiana, I say no. I say Indiana should be in no matter what. I
They
expect
should be.
them.
They've been covering their spread
They
constantly
should
too.
be. Yep.
No
Um,
way.
I just hope they don't lose by 40 plus points this week, but we'll see. They have Coach Sig, so you never know.
If they lose by 40, it's going to be a tough argument to keep them in
If
at
they
that
could
point.
just keep it close, I'd be absolutely thrilled.
Yeah.
We'll get
What's the
into it
spread?
next week for sure. We'll get into the recap, but I wish them well. All right, for the Windy City Wire podcast, my name's Sam Tenaglia. This is Owen Zimmerman and Kevin O'Malley. Thanks for tuning in.